Welcome back. Today we are watching Tron, Ares, the sequel that took 15 years to load, probably because they were trying to figure out how to make Jared Leto likable. Spoiler, they just made him a robot. We start with a classic exposition dump, because nothing says exciting sci-fi movie like reading a Wikipedia article about a fictional company. Apparently, Kevin Flynn is still missing, Encom is still a corporate mess, and the Dillinger family is back to reclaim their throne of evil tech bros. Meet Julian Dillinger. He looks like he runs a crypto scam that exclusively targets orphans, which makes him the perfect villain for this franchise. Someone types a command to start the Ares program. It's always a black screen with red text. Never a user-friendly app with a cute icon. We zoom into the grid, which has apparently gone through a serious goth phase. Everything is red. The mood lighting is set to maximum angst. And here he is, Ares. He wakes up looking like a high-end gaming PC that just gained sentience and depression. He immediately gets into a fight, because in the digital world, saying hello usually involves throwing a frisbee at someone's face. Look at this slow motion. He's not just fighting, he's posing for the movie poster in real time. That is dedication to the brand. After clearing the tutorial level, he takes a moment to enjoy the view. It's a beautiful city, assuming you love the color red and have no depth perception. A giant floating head appears to give him a pep talk. It tells him he's special, which is exactly what you tell a sentient weapon before pointing it at your enemies. Ares decides he's done with the simulation and jumps into the void. Because taking the stairs is for users, and he has a dramatic entrance to make. Meanwhile, in the real world, we cut to a snowy wasteland. Someone watched The Thing and decided it was the perfect spot for a startup incubator. We meet Eve Kim. She's living off the grid, surrounded by plastic sheets and paranoia. It's the interior design choice of, I'm definitely not crazy, I swear. Her friend hands her a floppy disk. In 2025. I haven't seen one of those since I tried to save a Word document in 1998. The transfer speed on that must be excruciating. She puts it into a computer that probably runs on diesel fuel and hope. It takes 15 years to load, which is historically accurate. Julian tells everyone to put on their safety glasses, because nothing says innovation like the risk of immediate blindness. Lasers start firing everywhere. It looks like a rave at a construction site. And boom, a tank appears out of thin air. It's 3D printing on steroids. If your printer jams, this thing just shoots you in the face. But the tank is just the packaging. The real product is inside. The door opens, releasing a cloud of steam for dramatic effect. Julian introduces him as the ultimate soldier. No food, no sleep, just vibes and violence. He is so proud of his little murder bot. The general asks if this thing is safe. Julian says yes, which is the universal movie code for this is going to kill everyone in this room in about 20 minutes. Ares stands there menacingly. He's processing billions of calculations per second, mostly wondering why everyone in the real world looks so soft and squishy. He catches a bug to prove his reflexes are faster than the plot. The military guys are impressed, and we're just waiting for the inevitable robot uprising. The evil CEO is getting a performance review from his mother, because nothing says powerful villain like being scolded by your mom in a dark warehouse. To prove he's a big boy, Julian introduces his science fair project, a man named Ares who looks like a gaming PC with too much RGB lighting. Mom is unimpressed because apparently, this god-tier technology has the battery life of a 2011 iPhone. 29 minutes before he crashes. My laptop lasts longer than that. She gives him 6 months to fix it or he gets fired. Nothing motivates innovation quite like the threat of losing your trust fund. Meanwhile, in a basement that smells like despair and stale burritos, we find the actual smart people doing the actual work. The woman, Eve, is scanning through lines of code looking for a miracle, mostly because she wants to stop eating burritos for every meal. She finds the secret code hidden inside a double helix, because in movies, all important data must be shaped like DNA to make sure the audience gets the symbolism. We cut to a flashback where they test the technology on an orange tree in the middle of a blizzard, because nothing grows better in freezing temperatures than citrus fruit. They blast the tree with a laser that looks like it belongs in a rave. If this works, they solve world hunger. If it fails, they just have warm juice. The orange stays real. It doesn't dissolve into pixel dust. This is the most dramatic fruit reveal in cinematic history. Back in the villain lair, the murder bot is having an existential crisis about feeling rain. Stick to the violence, buddy, nobody pays you for poetry. Julian decides to do some hacking. He starts mashing the keyboard like he's playing a piano concerto, because we all know typing speed is directly correlated to hacking skill. He finds the exact person he needs in 3 seconds. His Google search skills are terrifying. I can't even find my own keys. He sends his goons into the server room. They walk in slow motion because they know they look cool, or maybe their suits are just really chafing. They dive into the internet. Imagine downloading yourself just to steal a file. I usually just use a USB stick, but I guess I'm old-fashioned. Inside the computer, everything is blue and shiny. It's like living inside a sapphire that hates you. They crouch down to avoid being seen by. Well, nobody is there yet. In the real world, this guy is hyping up the crowd for a video game launch. He has the energy of a youth pastor who just drank 6 Red Bulls. Back in the grid, the squad is getting their cardio in. Look at those stairs. There is no elevator in the digital world. That seems like a design flaw. Julian hits one button and disables the entire security system. He says, I'm in. If I had $1 for every time a hacker said that, I could buy this company. Ares finally runs into the local mall cops. They stand there menacingly, waiting for someone to throw the first glow stick. He throws the frisbee of death. It defies physics, logic, and common sense, but it looks awesome, so we allow it. The guard gets hit and turns into digital confetti. He didn't die, he just uninstalled. He lost some weight. About 100% of it. Ares decides ranged combat is boring and goes in for the smackdown. He treats this security guard like a piñata that refuses to break. He grabs the guy by the throat. The guard realizes he is not paid enough digital currency for this level of harassment. He grabs the data and triggers a massive explosion, because stealing a file quietly is for cowards. You have to burn the whole server down to make a point. The explosion crashes the real-world presentation. The audience probably thinks it's part of the show. Wow, look at those graphics. They look so real. Ares is back in the Red Room of Shame, getting a performance review from a giant floating head. He tells Ares that his predecessor was deleted for being dysfunctional, which is corporate speak for he asked for a raise. Ares agrees that he is 100% expendable, which is the kind of can-do attitude that gets you promoted. Or killed. In the real world, EJ is panic dialing from the back of his luxury sedan because the company is currently melting down. Julian, on the other hand, is relaxing in his villain lair, eating snacks and gaslighting his business partner. EJ is trying to play hardball, but it's hard to be intimidating when you're wearing a blazer that costs more than my house. And then he starts making fresh orange juice in the car during a crisis. I swear to God, if you have a dedicated orange juice press in your back seat, you deserve to be robbed by a cyber ninja. Eve Kim is currently cruising at 30,000 feet, ignoring calls like she owes them money. She finally picks up and drops the bomb. She found the permanent code, the holy grail of digital immortality. 4 hours without degradation, which in software terms is basically a miracle. Back in the grid, Ares activates Facebook stalker mode. He is scrubbing through terabytes of her personal data in seconds. Look at him. He's watching a woman die of cancer with the same emotional reaction I have when watching paint dry. He tracks a shell company to a flight path, because apparently even secret masterminds leave a paper trail. And there it is. A perfectly healthy orange tree growing in the middle of the Alaskan snow. Seems legit. Eve lands and meets EJ, who has swapped his suit for a rally car. Finally, a useful purchase. They try to leave, but the door decides to start a laser light show. The bad guys have arrived. Julian 3D prints 2 light cycles out of thin air. I gotta get me one of those printers. He gives them 29 minutes. Why? Because round numbers are for people who don't have god complexes. The chase is on. High-tech digital bikes versus a Ducati and an Audi. Place your bets. Ares locks onto Eve. He's gaining fast, probably because he doesn't have to obey the laws of physics. A police car tries to intervene, but Ares decides it would look better as 2 separate convertibles. That officer is definitely retiring early, and by retiring, I mean needing a change of pants. Eve pulls into a parking garage, hoping the confined space will slow them down. Spoiler, it won't. She pulls a wheelie and uses her front tire to high-five the robot's face. Athena hits the wall and reboots. That warranty is definitely voided. Eve looks at the enemy bike and thinks, you know what? Red is my color. She hops on and the bike literally swallows her legs. Hope she wasn't attached to them. She screams, which is the correct reaction to your vehicle trying to digest you. She tears through the city, traumatizing a baby who will now grow up obsessed with neon lights. Ares decides he's done playing tag and fires up the particle laser. He starts building walls in the middle of a street. City planning has really gotten aggressive lately. The chase continues through a brick wall because doors are for people who don't have a CGI budget. She takes a moment to appreciate the smell of dumpster juice before remembering she is being hunted by a glowstick. She sprints into the nearest creepy warehouse, hoping the darkness will hide her from the guy who literally glows in the dark. And there he is. Jared Leto, walking with the confidence of a man who knows he has top billing. She tosses the drive into the harbor, assuming waterproof technology hasn't been invented yet. She asks what he is, probably expecting him to say a vampire, but instead, he claims to be Master Control, which is a very fancy way of saying he's a glorified Windows update. He dives in after it like a golden retriever chasing a tennis ball. The helicopter locks onto her, and the computer decides it's time for a file transfer. And just like that, she gets turned into a bag of Skittles. Taste the rainbow. Meanwhile, Scully is yelling at Quicksilver for breaking his toys in public. He looks out the window, wondering if his insurance covers accidental digitization of innocent civilians. Back in the computer, the Wi-Fi is strong, and the download is almost complete. She finishes buffering and arrives in the grid, looking surprisingly calm for someone who just got deleted. Ares checks her ID, probably to see if she's old enough to ride the roller coaster. Her suit lights up because in the future, fashion is 90 LEDs and 10 spandex. She looks out at the city and realizes she's definitely not in Kansas anymore. She's in a graphics card. They realize the secret code isn't on the drive. It's inside her. The files are in the girl. Classic plot twist. The bald lady suggests murder. It's the most efficient solution, to be fair. But Ares hits the pause button. He's developing feelings, or maybe just a glitch. The big redhead demands a sacrifice. It's like talking to a very angry tomato. In the real world, the CEO is rage typing. He's probably just smashing the backspace key repeatedly. Ares tells her the boss is indisposed, which is code for I am making this up as I go along. He claims the user is stuck in traffic, in a computer, where cars drive at the speed of light. Solid lie, bro. He asks if she trusts him. She has known him for 5 minutes, and he kidnapped her, so obviously the answer is yes. Athena gets a text message saying he's lying, kill him, awkward. She grabs her glow stick of destiny, and the chase is on. They smash through a window because using doors is against company policy. They fall into the abyss of bad CGI, dodging lasers and physics simultaneously. He catches her mid-air. How romantic and aerodynamic. They land on a moving truck, which is standard procedure for any action movie escape. He drives through a wall of fire. I hope that suit has air conditioning. They enter the tunnel of doom, where the frame rate drops and the intensity rises. He builds a ramp out of thin air. It's like Fortnite, but with better graphics. They launch into the giant beam of light, hoping it's an exit and not a bug zapper. We start with a light show that costs more than the GDP of a small country. It's rainy, it's neon, and it's very dramatic. Meanwhile, in the real world, this guy is staring at a loading bar like he's waiting for his pizza delivery. The suspense of file transfer protocols is truly riveting. The 3D printer finally finishes its job and spits out a man in a tactical wetsuit. He looks confused, probably wondering why the graphics are so bad out here. He grabs the girl and they steal a plumbing van. Nothing says covert ops like driving a giant billboard that screams, "I am fleeing the scene." Back at the villain lair, the boss is upset his new toy ran away, so he decides to print a girlfriend. I mean, a weapon. Definitely a weapon. She comes with a deluxe flight package. Honestly, giving the murder robot wings seems like balancing issue the developers should have fixed in the beta. Eve needs a phone, so she proves her identity by flashing a magazine cover. That is the ultimate flex. Do you know who I am? I'm page 42. They upgrade from the van to a Honda Civic with flame decals. Those stickers add at least 50 horsepower. This is the Fast and Furious Budget Edition. The red angry lady is tracking them from the sky, probably because a yellow car with flames isn't exactly blending into traffic. While they are being hunted by a Terminator, he decides now is the perfect time to read her diary. Zero boundaries, this guy. He's judging her text so hard right now. They arrive at the evil tech company, where the security is apparently just one lady who is happy to have visitors. Corporate security really isn't what it used to be. They start building a doomsday device in the break room. HR is going to have a field day with this safety violation. Reason for termination: built a portal to hell next to the water cooler. The red lady decides doors are for losers and makes her own entrance. She really hates glass. It's a personal vendetta at this point. He realizes his digital Uber has arrived and sprints for the light. He is not paying the cancellation fee. He jumps into the beam and gets turned into a zip file. Hope he remembered to save his game before quitting. She stares at the empty spot like a cat that lost a laser pointer. She is absolutely furious she missed the kill. The girl decides to play The Floor is Lava, except the lava is a murder robot with a temper tantrum. She makes a tactical exit before her warranty expires. The robot takes the rejection poorly and decides to scream at the furniture. She screams so hard she literally uninstalls herself from reality. The laser gun decides to join the robot in the afterlife, turning into expensive glitter. Meanwhile, Ares is enjoying the scenic route to the basement, falling through the internet's plumbing. He sticks the superhero landing, which is terrible for the knees, but great for the ego. Back in the real world, Seth wakes up from his nap, completely useless as usual. Eve realizes their only way to follow Ares is currently smoking like a barbecue grill. Ares finds himself in a dark void, staring at a giant geometry homework assignment. A wild floating rock appears. It speaks in yes and no, which is honestly better than most conversations I have. He pulls out a glow stick, probably hoping to start a rave. But instead, it wraps around him and turns into a motorcycle, because walking is for peasants. I wish my Honda Civic did that. Instead, it just turns into a disappointment. Elsewhere, the bald lady is brooding in her evil lair, judging the city's architecture. Julian is watching his stock portfolio crash in real time. He looks like he needs a stiff drink and a lawyer. Suddenly, his computer starts downloading a very large file, probably malware. Definitely malware. The room turns into a laser tag arena. A figure steps out of the spaghetti wires. It's Athena. She's upgraded from digital assistant to physical threat. Julian tries to yell at the killer robot, asking who gave her permission to exist. Then his mom walks in, waving like she just brought snacks for the study group. She tries to ground him and take over the company. Bold move considering the murder bot in the room. Athena decides she's done with middle management and summons a glowing Dorito of death. She tosses the body aside like yesterday's trash. Julian is absolutely horrified. She tells Julian the impediment is eliminated. He is currently rethinking his entire career path. She marches out with her new army, leaving Julian alive because he's too pathetic to kill. Julian rushes to the keyboard and types pseudo-kill, which is adorable. He thinks he has admin privileges. Outside, the nanobots start building a giant Red Death spider. Property values are dropping fast. Back in the neon world, Ares arrives at a fancy glass house. He parks his bike like he owns the place. He walks in and finds the dude himself, Flynn, looking very zen and very bearded. Flynn says hello. He's definitely been alone for 30 years. He has that "I talk to plants" vibe. Meanwhile, downtown is getting stomped by a kaiju. It's stepping on buildings like they're Legos. Eve explains that Ares is trapped in the computer and the giant robot outside is looking for her. She starts rambling about packets of energy and lines of light. The guys just stare at her like she's speaking Klingon. Back in the grid, Flynn asks Ares if he's alive. Ares says he exists because Flynn does. Deep. Flynn speaks entirely in fortune cookie quotes. Ares is struggling to keep up. Ares says he wants permanence. Flynn looks at him like he just asked for a unicorn. Ares admits he's helping a friend. Flynn smiles. He likes that answer. It's very human. Back in the office, Eve is trying to hotwire the broken laser with a laptop and some hope. She spots the giant Red Death machine. It's looking for her. She decides it's time to be a hero. She grabs the laser cannon. It weighs more than she does, but adrenaline is a hell of a drug. She runs into the street to distract the monster. The guys stay inside because they are smart cowards. The robot scans the area. It's huge. Eve looks like an ant with a laser pointer. She stands her ground. I admire the bravery, but I question the physics. Suddenly, the Air Force arrives. They fire missiles, which tickle the robot's paint job. The robot fires back with red spaghetti lasers. It's not even a contest. One jet turns into a firework. Eve watches, realizing her backup just got deleted. The billion-dollar fighter jet turns into a very expensive fireworks show. The pilot tried his best, but unfortunately, his best involved flying directly into a giant Red Death laser. It is just casually ripping the architecture apart with the grace of a toddler in a Lego store. I hope everyone in the office building worked from home today. We cut to the digital retirement home, where the Gandalf of the grid is chilling in his bathrobe. He looks like he's about to drop the hottest ambient synth album of 1982. Ares shows up, looking like he just walked off a Gucci runway in cyberspace. He's got the red eyes, the tactical suit, and the facial hair of a man who takes himself very seriously. He says he hopes Ares is a man because apparently gender roles still exist inside a computer simulation. That's a weird thing to code into the system, old man. They lock hands. The data transfer begins. This is the most intense handshake in cinematic history. Look at the particles. The creator looks at him with those sad puppy eyes. He knows he's sending this guy to a world of taxes and traffic jams. He says one door in, one door out, which is also the fire safety policy of this building. Ares steps into the beam, ready to leave the neon paradise. The beam hits him. He's screaming. It's the pain of being compressed into a JPEG. He's changing colors, going from Sith Lord red to a more neutral palette. He's floating in the void. It's a kaleidoscope of binary code and lens flares. This is exactly what it feels like to chew 5 gum while listening to Daft Punk. Back in reality, the landing is a bit rough. The red ship comes crashing down, crushing a few parked cars. I really hope those were rentals. It's Athena. She looks thrilled to be here. And by thrilled, I mean she looks like she wants to speak to the manager of Earth immediately. After almost destroying 2 worlds, we cut to a quiet, sweaty close-up for some philosophical rambling. They move to the curb, looking like 2 college students at 3 a.m. realizing they have no way to get home. He says he has ideas about where to go. Spoiler alert, it's probably somewhere with no Wi-Fi. Eve is left alone in the street to deal with the police, while Ares presumably ghosted her. Classic bad boy behavior. We get a montage of success. Encom is saving the world, curing diseases, and putting Flynn Lives stickers on everything. Eve is now a corporate big shot, staring at photos in a glass office. The American dream achieved through digital terrorism. She gets a postcard. Snail mail. Because nothing says advanced artificial intelligence like using the postal service. And there he is. Ares has gone full eat, pray, love. He's growing a beard and journaling in a cafe. Look at him. He went from a digital god of war to a guy who definitely owns an acoustic guitar and talks about vibes. He hops on a Ducati. Because you can take the program out of the grid, but you can't take the cool bike scenes out of the franchise. But wait. Don't click away yet. We have a post-credit scene involving a pile of angry red Nesquik. It's Julian. He didn't die, he just got uploaded to the cloud without a data plan. He looks around like he woke up after a frat party in a location he doesn't recognize. We've all been there, buddy. He checks the view. It's a massive red city. A bit monochromatic, but the rent is probably affordable. He finds a console with a red identity disc. And because he has zero survival instincts, he grabs it immediately. The disc activates. It starts downloading a suit directly onto his skin. He screams, either from the overwhelming power or because the spandex is way too tight in the crotch area. Well, guys, that's it. If you enjoyed watching me suffer through this masterpiece of bad decisions, like and subscribe. I'm going to therapy. See you in the next one.